Hey, welcome to Podsquisite Corpsecast, a First Issue Club experience that is, I guess, by proxy, brought to you by Boulevard Space Camper Cosmic IPA, the best beer in the galaxy. So crack your spacers and let's talk Exquisite Corpse.
Is that the new tagline? Crack your spacers.
I think so. It rolled off the tongue real nice.
It's a
Crack
good
your
one.
spacers sounds pretty good.
Well, here's the deal with this podcast, folks. We talked about Exquisite Corpse on our main feed several episodes back. We're going to talk about this issue by issue because it's a fun, serialized one with great cliffhangers and great deaths every single issue. And we knocked another one off the board this week, and I can't wait to update my Exquisite Corpse bracket with you guys as we follow the atrocities occurring in Oak Valley in the 2025 competition.
I think it'd behoove us, real quick, Andy, before we get any further, to explain kind of what we're doing. If you've been a long-time listener of First Issue Club, we did this a long time ago with Crossover, the Donny Cates comic book that was out on Image Comic Books, a little show called Crosstalk, where our friend Joe actually got Donny Cates at a convention to introduce the show, and we used that as a clip. It was one of the coolest things that has happened to the show, and Joe actually had to preface to Donny Cates, "Don't worry, they're not Comicsgate people." And then that's the only way Donny Cates would be like, "Oh, okay, then I will do this." And so what we're going to do is kind of what Mike said, is like every new issue of Exquisite Corpse that comes out, we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about the things that have happened, who has died, who has lived, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we enjoy recording them.
Greg just reiterated everything I just said. Vargas, do you want to do a turn?
Yeah, definitely. No, what I want to do is housekeeping. Before we start talking about
All in houses.
this book issue by issue, I think what we should do is I think we should pick who we think's going to go the distance. And then just for funsies, I think each of us should pick a killer who's going to die before the halfway point hits. And since we all have read the first two issues, we're 2 killers ahead. So the pool is only 11 people deep. So
Yeah, and who's out of it already?
Let's just get it out of the way now, guys.
yeah,
The congregation dies in this issue. He's called the congregation because he's a congregate of everyone he's killed. He sews in like faces and body parts and other skin of the people that he murders.
which is such a cool look.
And he was our cover character on issue 2. And I was wondering, like, this didn't follow suit with issue 1, but I was surprised the character they used on the cover this time was the character that got axed. So we'll see if that's a pattern or through line through the next handful of issues.
Mike, it's funny you say that because the congregation's weapon was the axe, if you remember.
Yeah, and he ended up using an X-Acto knife.
Yeah.
Because he didn't find his cachet.
Because he couldn't find his cachet. That's another fun thing about this, that everyone is initially kind of on the hunt for the tools that they'll have at their disposal. And there's a lot of disarray that, like, I think we're finding that some of the characters that we thought were going to be long-standing in the immediate, like, chaos and mix of everything going on all at once, a lot of people are going to get, like, their head lopped prematurely.
So the congregation was the delegate from New Hampshire. So the New Hampshire family is out of the race.
Yep.
Issue 1 saw the demise of Leopold Strong, the representative from North Carolina, who was the Hammer. He was like the carnival folk.
Who I definitely would have picked.
To die first or
No,
go all the way?
To go all the way. I loved that dude. I thought it was because he's like an old-timey strong man, and he just uses like the strength test mallet.
But I mean, that hammer would slow you down. He's not quick and agile, and he's theatrical. He's all about the show.
Yeah.
I would have chosen him to be first in the top 5 to go.
Well,
like he would have been my first 5.
You would have guessed right.
So far, I'm killing it.
So far, you are killing it.
Getting Gunn in the bracket is quite a boon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just really quickly, I guess all of the different delegates are like assigned a weapon of choice, and then they draft their killer based on the weapon they get, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get bow and arrow, you find like the best archery person in the world that you can.
Except this year,
who's crazy enough to do this.
Except this year, it's just one of the delegates.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued by that.
Yeah.
I think that's a reason to keep that particular character around for quite a while, because she's intimately tied to the...
Is that a pick for Mike D then?
That's not an official pick.
Okay,
I don't want to use my pick yet.
Okay, all right.
It's just speculation.
All right.
Do you guys have picks already?
For top 5?
Cooked and booked? No, not top 5. Whoever said top 5? I think we were going to pick somebody who was going to die before the halfway point.
Yeah.
And then someone who was going to make it all the way.
Yeah. I have my all the way. I have my guy that I think is going to go the distance.
All right.
Okay, so we have 2 already out, right?
We have 2 already
Hammer
out.
and Axe.
Yes, Leopold, Strong, and Congregation.
And so now our job is to pick 3 more of who we think is going to die next.
Well, pick who you think's going to win, and one guy you think's going to be dead before issue 7.
Is this a bit?
Okay.
You keep
what
trying to
comic
make
are we
it a
reading?
certain...
One guy to win, one guy to lose. That's all you got to pick.
Okay, here's my loser.
You, the listener.
The recluse from Rhode Island with the rope.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm doing Clue now.
Greg thinks the recluse is going to lose. I like the design of the recluse. I like that they had that scene in issue 2 where he was like glowing in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. Very comic book. All right. Greg says the recluse dies before issue 7. Mike D, any thoughts?
I think that's a safe bet.
No thoughts on my pick. What's your pick?
My pick is Nurse Pete.
You think Nurse Pete
that fucker's
dies
gone.
or goes the distance?
I think he dies.
Okay.
He's such a little pig-nosed fucker.
I hate Nurse Pete. Yeah, he's such a little weasel.
He sucks.
I think that's part of the reason he might go the distance.
Someone's already on to him though. We have our nurse in town who used to be in the army.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, here's the situation. I think next issue we've got some immediate comeuppance that he's hitching a ride with the ambulance drivers, right, to the hospital, trying to clean up the body that he just killed. Now, our nurse character that we're following, who's like a good guy, has a background in the army. And so if it's between her or Nurse Pete, she's got to kick his ass first, because I think she's got to make it more towards the finish line.
Sure.
We got to really earn her death in a big way. So I think she kills Nurse Pete instead of one of the other killers taking him off the board.
Okay. That's good
story writing.
That's
from
good
Mike
story
D.
writing. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
If James Tynion is listening right now, he's taking note.
That's right. He's like, oh, wow, I
And
wish
Michael
these guys
Walsh.
were around when I was writing Something is Killing the Children. Would have been able to break that a lot
Do you think we could ever get
easier.
them on this show, James and Michael? Be like, hey, we have this like show about your comic. It's very specific.
No, I don't think so. I think he's one of the busiest guys in comics.
Yeah. We might be able to get
I would
Michael
honestly
Walsh.
take a Zoom call on the subway from him would be fine. Just a quick little, what? I'm losing you. I'm going through a tunnel. I was like, okay, James, thanks for joining us.
He is a New York guy, right? So that would at least be
I
a
think
real
he's just like
excuse
universal.
that you've entered a tunnel.
He's just an entity.
Yeah, he encompasses like just the world vibe. Him and
Yeah.
Grant Morrison are just like in tune with the vibrations of Mother Gaia and have just been on a steady stream of victory ever since. Marcus, what's your Dead Before 7?
My Dead Before 7 is Slater, who is from Maryland and represents explosives.
Yeah.
Only because I think it will be like the mid-season like big moment. They're gonna blow up whatever, the gas station or the high school or something. But I don't think that that weapon, or a character using that weapon, is tenable for the long-term story.
Yeah.
Like you can't just have a guy like blowing up characters left and right, or you just have a guy like show up in the last issue and like blow up a guy and then they win.
Yeah, or like I just see a scene with him blowing himself up, to be honest.
Yeah. but I don't think a character using explosives is going to make it all the way. I will say though, so they're setting up Lone Gunman as kind of the de facto main character because
Yeah.
Massachusetts is sort of the main character of the patrons that we're getting to know.
Yep. I do appreciate they're swapping back and forth between the town and the kind of like control center
Yeah.
where they're watching all of the kills happen. It's really fun to see both storylines going at once.
But I don't think Lone Gunman's gonna make it all the way. I think he'll probably last beyond the halfway point. But I think just knowing Tynion's writing, I don't think Massachusetts is gonna end up winning. But there probably will be some sort of a twist where you think he's dead and then he ends up being the Fox Mask killer or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, some kind of whatever twist. But I don't think Lone Gunman's gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna make it all the way out.
Interesting.
But that's a side bet.
All right, who's your pick then for making it all the way?
My pick for making it all the way is Gamer Kid and Calvin.
I did have a thought that it's like it's rough killing a kid.
Yeah.
Even in a comic book, that's tough. I mean, they're going to have to make this child such a monster to have us feel okay about it.
Well, and that's again, knowing James Tynion's writing, I can see him sort of, because he's already kind of like weaseling his way into the common folk in town.
Yeah.
And he uses a little drone to kill people. So I can see him, you know, pretending to be like a townsperson. So when the other killers come by and they're like, oh, you know, who are you guys or whatever? Like, because the killers aren't seeking out townspeople to kill. They're just sort of like fodder in the way.
Yes.
So anyway, that's my top pick for making it all the way.
Do we know that he is a child though? Is it explicitly said that he is a kid?
I think
Because I remember the movie The Orphan, where this young woman is portrayed as a child the whole movie, and then you get an M. Night Shyamalan twist, and it turns out she is not. Is that what we're gonna get here?
I think, don't they recruit him from like a high school thing or something in the first
I thought it was like
issue?
a video game thing where they're just like, okay, he's really
maybe
good.
Yeah. But that's a good point, Greg. Maybe he's actually an adult. Maybe they're pulling an orphan.
Classic, pulling an orphan.
I think the person that's going to make it to the end is going to be the Lone Gunman.
Okay.
But if I had to make a sub pick of like who are my last two people, I think Pretty Boy makes it all the way as well. It's just like a cool character who we've seen in the second issue, like kind of make an ally or like buddy up to somebody in the town. And I think there's like a little bit of like an endearing quality that might help this character like gain more companions, play the game a little smarter, and make it a little further.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick too.
Greg?
All right. So then my pick will be Lady Carolina.
Yeah, a very strong pick.
She is from the South Carolina delegation. She has arrows, and I believe she's like the twin sister, right, of one of the families.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the twin sister of the patron or whatever. Yeah.
I think she has a lot of family honor on the line that she wants to win back. I think she's kind of a dark horse.
I think she makes it far too.
Yeah.
I think that's too cool of a moment when that character dies to have it happen really early on. But I think in issue 3, right, where we got set up to have kind of an immediate comeuppance with the recluse and Lady Carolina, as the recluse was kind of like lingering in a tree. But if anybody can have like the long range foresight to pick somebody out of a tree,
right,
it's the person who's shooting arrows, right?
Yeah.
It just depends if she can get to them in time.
Yeah, I think the strong picks for the last, like the final 4 are Lone Gunman, Lady Carolina, Fox Mask Killer, and then I think Gamer Kid, obviously because I picked Gamer Kid. But I think those are the final four.
I know. I'd be really surprised if Rascal Randy makes it past the halfway point. It was like just a mascot character.
But
Yeah.
I do love Rascal Randy, like the whole like aesthetic and the fact that he just like strangles people, right? Because isn't his weapon hands?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's personal with him.
Yeah. So and that's another thing too, is like his weapons cache has to just be his mascot outfit, right? Like there's nothing in there but his mascot head.
He's got a good head start. He doesn't have to look for a cachet.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I think there's some forgettable ones like Lady Blaze from Delaware. Like I don't see her going past 5.
She's
Slater,
the fire one, right?
Yeah, she's fire. I think Nurse Pete, Slater, all those. I don't think they're really going to go too much further. Pretty Boy's a good like long distance hauler of just like that dude was made. I mean, he just took care of the congregation in 2 moves essentially and just snapped his neck.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. There's a lot of crazy people in this that are set up as like they're clearly unbalanced. Pretty Boy is somebody that like while gruesome has his wits about him, obviously.
Well, he's a real Bundy type, right? Where he can like charm people, yeah, but he doesn't obviously hesitate to kill anybody. So.
Oh boy.
A question I had when I was reading this was, we have a cast of characters now from the town who are getting more and more involved, or we kind of see their paths crossing more with these killers. What are the chances that they get involved with the game in a more like involved way of just like they actually start killing these people, or are they going to take the high road and just like try to help people escape or whatever? Like, because there's going to be a point where these people have to make a choice of like they just figure out what's happening, and do they just spend their energy escaping and eluding, or taking out these killers as well?
Yeah, are they just a humanizing force in the story, or is this going to be like an Escape from New York type situation?
Right. Yeah.
The paranoid gas station attendant was the first person on the scent, right? Because he's paranoid. And was immediately like, there's some weird government thing going on here. And that's 100% what is actually happening. And then we've got our ambulance drivers, who are the clear, like, number 2 of getting themselves involved. And then there's like the Halloween partiers and the guy taking the kids for trick-or-treating, and then his partner, who is just kind of out and about looking to party. And we'll see which of them gets hacked and which of them makes it to the end, but I've got a good feeling about some of those characters, going the long haul. Or
well, and don't forget about the mom and the boss at the car lot.
Oh yeah.
The guy that is taking the kid trick-or-treating with Gamer Kid feels like a Tynion main character.
Definitely.
So I could see that character kind of going the distance.
I think at some point, all of these, I'll call them town folks, they will ditch their killers that they have found, and will all end up teaming up against the killers at some point. That's my guess. I am guessing that this will be an Escape from New York type situation.
I love
it. Is there a rule that's been explicitly said that one of these killers can just like give up or surrender? Like, I see a scenario where Gamer Kid befriends the younger brother that he's trick-or-treating with, and is just finally just like, you know what, I'm actually out. I don't want to do any of this anymore. Or is there like a clear, you have to die in order for this game to be over?
Yeah, I think everyone that's playing the game has to die for the game to be over. I don't think there's forfeiting.
Then I do have a projection of Gamer Kid does die to protect his friend.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Oh,
I like that.
Okay. That's another way you could get away with softening the blow of killing a child.
True. Yeah.
He sacrifices
altruistic
himself.
Suicide.
Yeah, that's right.
He's gonna hurt locker himself.
Lord.
If only one of the killers was a dog.
You bastard.
That's how I would know that guy's gonna win.
Or a gorilla that knows sign language. Coco wants to kill.
Coco Smash.
Oh, speaking of Coco Smash, we'll maybe talk about on the Patreon. That new Donkey Kong trailer looked bonkers.
We're supposed to be talking about Exquisite Corpses here, Greg, not Donkey Kong.
Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/first-issue-club to hear me talk about Donkey Kong.
How about it? Let's get into this issue in particular. I guess we've talked about a lot of it throughout our bracketing, but the book opens with the congregation in the gas station with our gas station attendant slicing open his buddy in his classic style, who's just like a random townsperson that like is like something's amiss here. So this guy's just already like killing for the kill of it, not necessarily like gaming the game. And then gets taken out, like we mentioned, by Loverboy or Pretty Boy.
Pretty Boy.
Loverboy.
Loverboy is a band from the 80s.
You know, every time I read a book like this, where it has these sort of like really like niche kind of characters, like Where Monsters Lie is the other like recent example. I am just itching. Like, I want to watch the Congregation movie. I want to watch that origin movie, and you know, like I want the sequel to it, and I want I just want more content with all of these characters. And it's just such a shame that he dies in issue 2, you know?
Well, that might be a fun thing about this book if it works or becomes really popular. That maybe you get some spin-offs and then you do another town at some point later or one in the past.
That reminds me. One thing I wanted to talk about here was, are you guys familiar with the old parlor game, Exquisite Corpses?
Well, I know the thing of like drawing like the top part of a character, someone draws the body and another person draws the legs.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
For anybody who doesn't know, Exquisite Corpses was a parlor game back in like, I don't know, 1600s, like forever ago, where...
Fact check us on that one, folks.
I mean, sure, fine, whatever.
I'm on Google right now.
Pre-television. Let's just
say
go. Pre-TV. Well, it was Exquisite Corpses and then immediately Settlers of Catan. Those are the two games that everybody played.
Yeah. And then turned into Masked Singer.
That's right.
It was invented in 1925 in Paris.
Sure, 1925. But yeah, so the whole idea is
1600s.
Somebody would draw...
Overshot it by just a couple centuries.
Man, I was more correct than...
Time's relative.
At least you're being bold and taking a guess. That's more than I did.
1 BC.
In the history of humanity, I was pretty close.
Yeah, well, okay. True.
Anyway, so yeah, somebody would draw like the face of a body, and somebody would draw like the arm or whatever, or the top half, bottom half, something like that, right?
Yep.
And I am wondering how, if at all, that concept will play into this book.
Oh, but do you not know, my child?
My sweet baby.
My sweet baby boy. Do you know this already, Greg? So the entire series has been plotted by James Tiny Onion, but we've got different creators working on each issue of this book. So while he's kind of set the course for the thing, other artists and writers are taking the front seat for each issue. So
that's why I get it. That's why it's Exquisite Corpse.
That's the exquisite corpse of it all. So you actually had Mike Walsh working on the first issue of this, but he's taken the driver's seat on the second issue as like the second main creator.
I didn't catch that because it was the same creative team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but Andy, to your point, in the beginning of this book, to the longevity or the vision they have for this, it says season 1, issue 2.
Yep.
So there very well could be another town in the next run.
Yep.
And that'll be season 2, which is very fun. Like the reoccurrence of that is a very fun idea for me to wrap my mind around.
Oh yeah.
And we're led to believe this has been happening since like the founding of the original colonies, right?
Now imagine
when were they founded? Was that like 1 BC? So we could have a 1 BC version of this.
Son of a bitch.
Oog chooses fire.
Yeah, it's only 3 guys. It's rock, club, and fire.
Mhm.
Exquisite
And
And hands.
lightning bolt.
Mhm. BO.
But I mean, Andy, I agree with you because I kind of wish that, like, you know, the congregation died in this episode, right? The next issue, or like the next time issue 3 comes out, the congregation gets a one shot of just like how he became the congregate. Like,
yeah,
to have that hidden book come out, or just like unannounced book, would be just like a total blast.
yeah. Or I mean, if they have different creative teams or at least different writers working on it,
Mhm.
I think it would be very Tynion and be very cool if they just like let them take that character and like
Oh,
kind of
sure.
run
Mhm.
with it, right? Like, so you do
That's
your
so
Exquisite
Tynion.
Corpses issue, and then if that issue like blows up, write a one shot, write a 3-issue mini, right? Like,
It does seem like lately he creates things with the intention of there being spin-offs.
definitely.
Like what the Christopher Chaos stuff already has spin-offs. House of Slaughter is already a huge spin-off
Mhm.
that's gone, what, like over 30 issues
And it
already.
has its own spin-off, right?
Um,
Isn't there like
Nice
a
house on the lake.
Yeah, there have been a couple like there's been like little offshoots like Book of Cutter.
yeah.
Each of the individual houses. We're getting off topic again. How did you guys think this read? Like, one of my worries is that when you've got a book that has, 12 killer characters in it, 12 families that hired the killers, and then a town's full of people, and we're getting introduced to those people. How do you think this read? Was it too many characters, or did they do the impossible and make this breezy?
I honestly, I enjoyed the issue. I'm going to enjoy this series. I think we got spoiled because issue 1 was a little bigger than normal, and so we got a lot more story and a lot more introduction to these characters. And I feel like the subsequent issues we're going to get now are going to be too breezy, or there's not really a lot of meat on the bone. They have to kind of get to the killing, and you really can't have too in depth with the rich families or like one particular character for one book. It's gonna have to stay on topic, like like very, very hard just to get through the series.
At least until we get to the halfway point, right? We've got fewer characters to deal with, so it's going to get way more intense as it
Right.
goes on, and way more character driven.
That's exactly what I was thinking is, so they've said this arc is 13 issues long. So one character is dying an issue, unless you have an issue where, we are exclusively talking to the townsfolk, and then the next issue 2 people die. Like,
Right.
but the average is somebody's going to die every issue, which is going to keep it nice and snappy.
Mhm.
As a horror movie fan, this issue read to me still very much like the first act of a Halloween movie, where we're watching Michael Myers creep on people, and just it's still setting the tone, even though we've already had 2 bracket spots crossed off. And I think stuff's only going to ramp up. I do think that there is something to be said about once we cross the halfway point, we're going to get more character development. We're going to get to know these people and feel more involved in their lives, because that again is very much Tunyon's writing. But I think at least these first 6 or 7 issues are going to be pretty bombastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this second issue too, and I thought it did a really successful job at like not biting off more than it could chew. It gave you like a handful of set pieces and focused its sight on a handful of characters without overwhelming us. So like I'm still all in, not regretting Podsquisite Corpsecast at all. Excited to talk about this next issue as well. Like really, really glad how this is shaping up.
I really liked the scene where I believe it's the woman who hired the lone gunman, and she was talking to the woman who beat her, I think last year, right?
Yeah.
Like, or the last 4 years, sorry. In the last competition, this is the woman who beat her. And the woman was just like, I know what your game is. I know your strategy. And the woman's just like, there is no strategy. in the first like 2 hours. It is all luck.
Yeah.
Like you could have the best competitor out there, but if one psycho's in the bushes and he didn't see him, and he'll just get his throat slit. Like it's all luck right now, and that's kind of how I'm feeling with these first few issues of the series. Is just like I don't know what's going on. It just seems very chaotic, and I feel like that's the tone that they want for this book for right now. Is just like who you think is going to win may not win. So I love that they're just kind of mirroring that with the conversations with the very rich benefactors, if you will, in the war room.
Another fun dynamic of that was like it's not off the table to make dealings between the families, right? That they said that there was a lot of like side bets and incentives going on, like who has the first kill. Maybe there's a lot of money in that. And they set this precedent that, well, we're all against Massachusetts, right? One of the people has like offered up $5 billion to the family that takes Massachusetts lone gunman off the table. So there is kind of like, well, you know, maybe we lose, but
yeah. But we get $8 billion.
We got enough side bets to feel really good about it, right? Like that's another fun dynamic of the whole thing.
That's something too that I think we should dive into, at least maybe in the next episode, but how every patron is like the absolute stereotype of the state they represent. I think that's incredibly funny. And bears talking about, but maybe that's I need to make some notes about it, because it was cracking me up.
Yep.
Like the New York guy just being like a total asshole was so funny.
Yeah. We've got our rednecks from
Kentucky.
No, the North Carolina guy, right?
Oh, it was North Carolina.
It was a North Carolina guy.
And
it was,
Kentucky?
Leopold
his
Strong's
shirt said like "fuck you, fucker" or something.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I also can't wait for this car dealer owner to die. They set him up to be such a prick early on. We said this was like Vincent D'Onofrio's character in Jurassic World, where the minute he's just like mean to a raptor. A well-trained a raptor that might as well be like a good boy dog. He's mean to it, and you're just like, the countdown clock is on.
You are done,
for
my
Vincent
guy.
D'Onofrio to die. God, that is this car dealer guy. So he's got to go soon.
You don't talk to this sweet single mother like that ever again.
Yes, totally. Yeah, and I hope his assistant, the redhead who's his assistant, makes it a long ways too. She's cool.
I do have
She's related to the family we mentioned earlier that has the trick-or-treaters. It's her son that the young couple are looking after.
That's
right. Can I give you guys a thought that I had when I got to the end of this issue?
Everyone gets one end of issue thought.
Make it good.
I don't know. Well, okay. I don't know if this is good or if this has any legs or if it has anything, but I thought that maybe the gay guy who dressed up for Halloween, I don't know what his name was, but I had this thought that he might get recruited as one of the killers for next time. Like
the one in the face makeup?
In the face makeup. Like he makes it through this whole thing and ends, you know, at the end of it, he is like the last person standing or ends up killing the killer who wins. And then Massachusetts or whoever brings him in and is like, hey, do you want to make some money?
I think that is a very good thought, Andy. Because we touched on it earlier of just like one of these characters is just in the town is just gonna go apeshit and like just to try to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, they're constantly being watched for this little game show that they don't know that they're on. That I can see like just someone from the town being recruited of just like, man, you fucking rocked it out there.
Yeah. That was my
What are you doing in 4 years?
Yeah. What are you doing?
He doesn't seem like that angry of a guy, but maybe he gets twisted throughout the events.
Imagine
of this.
your little kid friend gets killed and his mom gets killed and your partner gets killed and everyone you know gets killed.
and he's a horror movie fan, so maybe he's
he just
inclined
snaps
to.
at the end and goes apeshit.
He lives in that face makeup from
right.
now on. The face makeup is cool.
That's pretty dope.
Also,
No.
End of
One
issue
final
prediction.
thought.
Okay, sorry.
Save it for next episode. All right, what is it?
I committed to buying the polybag issues, so I'm collecting the cards.
Oh man,
the cards, cool.
I kind of wanted the cards too.
I did have a little bit of FOMO once I figured out that was a thing, and I already had all my pre-orders in.
But
for the first.
But luckily, this will be a separate game that you can purchase and play without having bought the polybag cards.
Yeah, but you're probably getting like the shiny ones.
They're not shiny; they're just exclusive.
You got that rare foil. You got that secret art.
I wonder how they're different. Maybe the backs of the cards are just different. To be like you got the comic booky collectible.
Yeah,
to give away your hand.
Different art or different powers or something. I also saw online that there was like an NYCC exclusive card, and there was a Comics Pro Con exclusive card.
Comic Tom card.
Yeah, Comic Tom has a card.
It's just blank.
Bad Idea has a card, but
that's invisible.
You have to actually
kill someone to get it.
You have to actually kill someone. You have to participate in the tournament for real to get it.
It costs $5 billion.
Their body turns to ash, Resident Evil kill style, and a card is left behind as a little trophy.
You have to perform a perfect babality.
Yeah, perform a fatality IRL.
Yeah,
no misinput.
I've got the Tula Lotte second issue cover.
Ooh,
very cool. I don't know who these. Okay, one of the characters is Lady Carolina with a sword, right? Unless this is a giveaway that the Fox Killer is actually a beautiful lady, because the Fox Killer is swords.
Fox Killer has boobs, like clear boobs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize that.
Just like blatant
Fox
boobs.
Killer. So, yeah, you're right. Okay, so is this Lady Fox Killer, or is this...
Maybe it's Lady Carolina kissing the Fox Mask Killer.
Bang, bang.
To me, it looks like Lady Carolina romancing the secretary of the car dealership.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh,
totally.
Nice.
Yeah. That might be what that is.
I think Lady Carolina is like a well, of course she's prim and proper. She's a billionaire, but that's like a fencing sword. And she was like doing polo with her like crossbow and stuff. So I think it's just alluding to her being like a wasp.
Totally.
Like romancing women left and right.
I totally didn't realize Fox Mask Killer was a lady.
You don't see gender, you just see killers.
Look at the Frizen cover. And there's no doubt.
Look at the Tim Seeley cover.
Look at
it's the issue 1.
Jenny Frizen cover.
Corpse.
It'll leave you no doubt.
Frizzon. And I'm looking. God, I've even seen this cover before, and I just glazed over the mesh. The mesh shirt, no bra completely. That's funny. Well, I'm glad I didn't go my entire life thinking Exquisite Corpse Fox Killer.
We would never let you do that, Mike.
It's kind of like...
Sorry to misgender
30% of the reason we started this
Fox
show,
Killer.
to be honest.
True. Guys, how hot is the Fox Mask Killer?
Yeah. Man or woman. What a fox.
Okay. Well, I think that's an issue and an episode of Exquisite Corpses and Podsquisite Corpsecast. We'll see you next time an issue of Exquisite Corpse comes out.
And hopefully we have a theme song.
Bye. I said bye. Oh, yeah. If you've got a theme song submission, send it our way. We would love a fan created intro song for our next podcast. Please don't make me
First
do it.
issue
You're not gonna like it.
Podcast at gmail.com. Send all your submissions there. If you do and we choose it, we'll send you a gift package of some fun comics and stickers and buttons.
Yes, totally.
Perfect.
Because Mike D already has to make a new sticker or image for the podcast exclusive show, and like he did with Crosstalk.
Yes.
So don't make him do a song.
The podcast art will be a 3-layer different head, body, and legs.
Oh, of us.
Of us.
Perfect.
Of us, yeah.
Great.
Who wants to be head? Who wants to be
It's
crotch?
just 3 crotches.
We're gonna get a little more. We're gonna get a little more macro level, yeah.
Greg's face.
Vargas's
Greg's
kneecaps.
face.
I'll send you guys some
My glasses.
full frontal nudes in the text chain so you can have some references, Mike.
Perfect. Okay, for real. Bye.
Party like it's 1600.
First Issue Club podcast is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, the people responsible for our favorite drinks, the Space Camper Cosmic IPA family of beers. Our show is edited and produced by our hosts Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtig, and Andy Vargas. You can find us on social media at First Issue Club, and you can join the supporters who keep our humble podcast going on our Patreon at patreon.com/firstissueclub.